born in Zimbabwe and now based in Leeds, Zodwa Nyoni is an award-winning playwright, poet and performer. She just completed a year-long writer's residency at the West Yorkshire Playhouse, and now she's about to present her first full-length play. Boi Boi Is Dead is a funny and striking exploration of family, loss and the future of a new generation. Let's take a look at the trailer.
I'm afraid to close my eyes, to make my body go weak. I'll scream. I'll scream your secrets out and they'll look at me, everyone.
I want to remember the boy who wore the cap, not the men in all of Stella's stories. I want to sing for the boy who sold tomatoes to buy his first trumpet, who left home to sing in Shabins. That's what I want to sing for. Is there anything wrong with that?
You know one of the albums.
Well, I'm delighted to say I'm joined now in the studio by Zodwa. Thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
So let's start off with the play.
Yes.
Boi Boi is dead, but he's not really, is he? He's still very much present in the play.
He's present in terms of we have an actor, but is also present in their memories. And the conflict, a lot of the conflict within the play is because of the memories that they hold and who has the correct version of the memory. So he's very much present, yes.
So it's the memories of people that are actually mourning him. That's how we
Yes.
learn more about this character.
Yes, very much so.
Now, he's got a big secret as well, hasn't he?
Does, yes.
Which his lover wants to reveal to all. I presume you're not going to reveal it
I
to
can't,
me.
no, I'm not going to reveal it. No, but I think one of the biggest things is that she needs to reveal it for herself as well in order for the family to move on. But the difficulty is trying to do that within a tense situation. So I think the play in itself is this woman trying to come to terms with this secret, with losing the person that she loves, and also trying to figure out how to care for her children.
Where did the story come from?
From my family's kind of experiences, because I think the story in itself is a true story, but also knowing women like Miriam, I'd say 3 women like Miriam who have these secrets after their lovers or husbands pass away. And it's how do you deal with this now when you are left carrying the secret and the person that's passed away, you can't ask them questions. So I wanted to tell the story of these women who are grieving but also have to survive at the same time.
It's set in Zimbabwe, and I know that you're from Zimbabwe. Huge African spaces. How do you realise that sort of setting on a stage?
I think what's been great is that the team has been incredible, from the director to the designer, Francisco. And I think when they read the script, it was also about their emotional response to the piece. So what Francisco has done, as you see in the pictures, is that he's created this beautiful landscape. And the actors never leave the space, so it's about them using the entire space as much as possible. So I think we sort of worked well together in terms of also the lighting and the music. It all worked together to create this piece.
But as you're saying, it's a collaboration, isn't it? And
Very much so,
I
yes.
think that's one of the unique things about writing a play.
Yes.
Because if you write a novel, it's you, and I know your editor might have some sort of interference. But when you're writing a play, there's so many other people. There's the designer, the actors, the set designer, all this costume. They all contribute to the piece.
They do, yes, and that's what I love about theatre, is that it's very much collaborative. And when you create something, that your world is going to be built with the set designer, with the lighting designer, with the costume and the actors. It is very much collaborative, and I think that's the key thing and the enjoyment of theatre as well.
Must be quite hard letting go when you're sat at home and you're writing this play, and then suddenly somebody else comes and puts their vision onto it as well.
It's part of the process, though. I think you do become precious of your work, but I think you know that in order for you to share with the audience, you have to have that process where you let it go and you let someone else come in, because we all build this thing that is theatre. So you have a little bit of a cry, and then you go, no, I've got to let it go. I've got to let my baby go, and let it kind of take its own flight, I guess.
This is the first full-length play you've written.
Yes.
Why have you waited so long?
It's time, learning about character, learning about structure, and in between in working on the drafts for Boi Boi, I also did shorter plays. So there's always been, each piece has been helping me to kind of get to this full-length play. And I think I needed that time to work on smaller pieces to figure out what it is I wanted to do with this bigger version as well.
Now, you started off as a poet.
Yes.
And I presume you still are a poet. I don't suppose you ever give up being a poet, do you? You don't
So we're still there.
There's no former poets out there. Does this affect the way that you write dialogue for your character? Because you've got obviously you've got a strong grasp of cadence and rhythm and the way that people speak.
It certainly helps. I think what it's been good is that, particularly with Boi Boi, is that there's also music within that. So I was able to use the poetry to create the lyrics for the songs. And it's never been a hindrance. If anything, it becomes something that gives you strength in order when you write. What it is you learn how to partner the rhythmical nature of poetry with dialogue, and it just makes for better work.
Okay, moving on to some other work of yours. You actually lead poetry workshops in schools and community centres. That sounds firstly like hard work, and secondly like something I really wouldn't want to do, because school children are quite sort of renowned for not particularly being interested in poetry.
I think the trick with them, is not necessarily just kind of focusing on what you get in terms of within school. So you show them that song lyrics, you work on other work that comes out, and you try to encourage them to see creative writing and about them expressing themselves. So it's always saying, here's a blank piece of paper, what do you want to write about? What do you want to see in the world? What do you want to hear? What do you want to talk about? So it's more about encouraging them to speak for themselves than giving them like a set piece of text and say, study that.
Which is what it was like when I was at school. So most of your work has taken place in Yorkshire so far.
Yes.
I presume that's because that's where you're based.
Yes.
How important is it for you to be based there, for your work to be shown in Yorkshire?
I think because it's very much part of where I grew up. So it's also wanting to write work for my city, and also wanting to create work that other young people can see and say, do you know what, I can also do that. I think what's great is that I can be based in Yorkshire but also have a national presence or an international presence, which is what poetry gave me. So I was able to travel and go to New York and do competitions, but then you come back home. It's that sense of home. It is home.
Okay, so very, very briefly, we've got about 20 seconds left. It's on at the Palace Theatre in London.
Watford Palace Theatre from the 18th until the 28th of March.
And it's called?
Boi Boi Is Dead.
Fantastic. Zodwa, thank you very much
Thank
indeed.
you.
All the very best of luck with it. I'll certainly
Thank you very much.